Hi, my name is Graham. I'm Head of Arts and Culture.
So my name's Helen. I'm the Operations Manager.
Hi, I'm Sammy. I am a freelance lighting designer.
And I've been here for 3 years.
I've worked here since it opened in 2009.
And I've been working here in some capacity for, I think, about 1.5 years.
I've always worked in theatre, so I've worked in theatre for 20 years now. I became passionate about theatre and live events from a really young age when I used to take part in those types of things through youth theatre, and I just wanted to make it my career, and I love doing it because it's really creative and it's something that I really enjoy. So Junction is an arts centre in the centre of Goole. We're a theatre, a cinema, we have rehearsal and studio spaces.
We have a cafe bar that the council now run, which is used during the day so that our box office is open. And then we have rooms available for people to hire. And then on an evening we have once a month a council meeting, but the rest of the time it's hires, films, workshops and live performances.
So prior to Junction, there was a theatre space in Goole that was really well attended and really well supported by the community, but that was called the Gate Theatre. It wasn't an ideal venue.
And we realised that it was something that was good, was needed in Goole, but we needed to be bigger. So my previous boss and the Arts Council worked together with Yorkshire Forward and East Riding Council, and we put together a bid to build Junction.
So 15 years ago, we were lucky enough to open this brand new state-of-the-art purpose-built venue that, again, people have continued to support. But I think there was, at the time, a lot of passion in the town that a town the size of Goole should have a theatre and a space where people can come and enjoy events and enjoy a kind of programme of different things happening where they don't have to travel to Hull or Doncaster or York. So as Head of Arts and Culture, my job is to oversee everything for Junction. So I deal with the programming of our events, whether that's our live theatre and music gigs or our film programme.
My role is mainly to make sure that the building runs on a day-to-day basis.
So the role of technician in the theatre specifically for live shows is ensuring that sound and lights are obviously on, working with an incoming company or with the company that's currently here.
But the book sits with me, so if rooms aren't ready or whatever, I need to make sure that that's done.
So the sound desk, so if they've got any sounds that need to be cued from up here for like backing tracks or special, sound effects, then it's cueing them.
That everything's ready in the theatre for theatre companies coming in, that the staff are all booked in. So yes, it's just generally my day-to-day job.
In terms of functionally during the show, so on the desk we have things called cues and submasters. So the cues are just a very simple thing. We just line them up. So it's like blackout, and then we have some front light, and then we have some colour, so on and so forth, for instance, for lights. And I would just press go, and every cue that I have, I just go, and the lights would change.
I also deal with all HR-related issues, budgets, dealing with funders and local businesses and sponsorship. So I have an overall view of everything for the organisation.
Well, that's a big question because it depends on the show, obviously. So it can be anything from simply putting a mic in the space and turning the lights on, all the way through to developing special effects and painting set, etc., etc. I think essentially at Christmas, for instance, we did our own Christmas show here, Hansel and Gretel, where we, as Junction, looked after everything. So I worked as the technician on that and stage manager-y person and ran through with that. So first off, we looked after the set and the props and everything to do with the physical, what was going on stage. So that was a lot of work. We had to design really designed the lights. That was the most technical bit of lighting I think I've done in quite a while, where we, you know, had to physically build the lights to go in it. And then the second problem is not just turning them on, is connecting them up to the desk and the DMX, which is the interface that we use. And so it was all, you know, we had to kind of discover how we're going to do that. With technical sort of advisors on board, we built this LED strip. And then you have to think about your audience in terms of, we don't want really loud, clashy, you know, music. We don't want Metallica music on stage. We want, you know, nice, gentle, popular songs, you know, that maybe they could hum along to or sing afterwards.
So altogether there's 35,000 people that use Junction each year, which is almost double the amount of people that live in Goole. So I think there's around 23,000 people that live in Goole at the last count, and 35,000 people that use the venue.
It can range from year to year, because if we have like a private hire of like a local dance school doing showcases, every single performance will sell out. And then sometimes we'll have some very cultured live performances and we don't get as big an audience. So if we have a lot of hires, it's probably a lot busier than that.
That includes events that we put on not only in the theatre space itself, but also out in the parks. We run the bonfire event every year. We do the Christmas lights switch on for the town. We have bandstand concerts out in the park. But yeah, it's used by almost double the size of the town. We're a 165 seat venue, so that means we can only get certain shows of a certain scale. We're not going to obviously be able to stage big West End musicals because they require a much bigger stage and a much bigger audience than we have. So there are lots of national companies producing work that is for our scale, and for us it's about making sure there's a variety in the programme of different things for people to enjoy. We generally work with different companies based on different deals. Not everything will necessarily sell out. So whilst we've got an event on, it might be that we have 100 people attending. We can fit up to 165 seated in our auditorium or 250 standing.
The majority of the people are from Goole, ranging from 5-year-olds up to 105-year-olds. It's a very broad area of people that it covers. And then we have people from the villages as well. So probably a good, say, 15 miles out of Goole, we have an audience from there, maybe 25 miles, you know, going into Doncaster and Hull. If there's something in particular people want to see and they've missed it in their town, then people come here for that. It's a really good venue for people who haven't seen films the first time round, so then they can come and see it when it comes to us, which is normally 3 weeks to a month after they've been on the big screen launch.
So Junction gets its funding through 3 main sources. The first one is through funders. So our 2 main funders are the Arts Council England and Goole Town Council. So both of those fund us to keep the venue up and running on a day-by-day basis. The second area we have is through ticket income. So we generate money through our bars, through tickets, through programme sales, through ice cream sales, things like that all go back into the pot to run Junction. And then the third one is through donations, whether that's sponsorship from local businesses, donations from the community. So we're always looking for kind of different pots of money to be able to deliver what we do, but there's always a constant balancing of the books. So I think for us, Junction needs to mean something to everybody in the community. So we do try and engage with as many different people and as many different groups as possible. That can be anything from people doing a knit and natter session here, where they come into the cafe and they do crochet and knitting and just meet up for a coffee, right through to performing on our stages, whether that's through your dance school, through your local amateur group, through your band, and then seeing live events here. So I think Junction needs to be something for everybody in Goole, and something that people can go, that's something I'm interested in, I really enjoy doing that here.
I'd love to see a lot more participatory for teenagers. We accommodate for 5 to 12s, some for the 12 to 18s, but we tend to like drift off, probably 18s to 30s.
Oh my goodness, what would I not want to see? Well, I'm currently working on little self-promo. I'm currently working on a show called Goose. I'm not producing it. I'm just, again, production managing technician on it. It's a little tiny kids show. It's not tiny, it's quite big actually, but it's a kids show and it's for under 5s. And I really want to see that come here.
So it would be good to get something here that would capture them. We'd had hoped that film was, but because we don't get them on release dates, they often go elsewhere. So if we can get something to bring them into Junction, get through the doors, experience it first time, and I think they would come back.
For me, I think what's really important at Junction is that we have a really broad range of programme for everybody across school to find something that they'll enjoy. So that's why I try to programme a mix of music, comedy, theatre, dance, family shows, films, exhibitions, art classes, youth theatre. There's something for everyone to enjoy, and I think especially in a place like Goole that doesn't have lots of venues and lots of things going on, it's really important that there's a good mix and a good variety in our venue.
Favourite's really tricky because I've only been here to see things as a punter. I've only been here two and a half times. So I've only actually been to see things without working here about twice. So the best thing I think that we've done, the best thing we've done since I've been here, probably is, the most exciting thing is Quintinary. The Quintinary Festival, which is a music festival.
I think for me it's got to be Lizzie the Musical that we had on last year. It was massive, it was crazy. It looked as though it was never going to fit, but it was amazing.
But what was exciting about it was seeing the space was totally different from the way we usually use it. So the Quintinary took over the entire building. It was a takeover of the building, and we had, you know, big bands in here doing their thing. We had a little stage in the workshop, the other side of the building, where we had sort of more alternative acoustic things going on. There were still full bands though, to be fair.
So my favourite event at Junction so far has been Hansel and Gretel, which was our Christmas production that we did in December 2023, so just last year. It was my favourite because that was our first ever production that we produced on our own, entirely in-house.
Then outside we had a food court and we had a proper acoustic pop-up stage there as well. So the whole building was sort of buzzing with, you know, music and activity and excitement. So.
And I think afterwards a lot of people regretted not coming because then they realised what it was, that it was going to be in London. So yeah, by far that has got to be the big wow for me.
We brought in our own actors, creative team, writer, director, designer, lighting technicians, sound technicians, etc. And it was a really lovely, heartwarming Christmas production filled with music and laughter, and it was seen by almost 3,000 people, which was really exciting to have that many people through the doors at Christmas.